Hi, Claude Whitacre here. I'm a speaker. I talk to audiences of salespeople and people that manage salespeople, and I also talk to groups of business owners. That's what I do for a living, and I also own a retail store, which I'm standing in right now. Well, I get to ask this a lot. I get to ask this by email. I get asked this, people call me up and ask me this. They say, Claude, what books, if you're going to recommend just a really, really good sales book, other than the ones you've written, of course, what are you going to recommend? Well, first I want to preface this by saying that I have a vast library of about 2,000 sales-related books. In other words, these are books on selling or owning your own business or psychology or how the brain works, okay, or on related fields. In other words, things that I would need to know to increase my effectiveness as a salesman and as a salesperson that teaches other salespeople how selling works. See, books on those things. So I have about 2,000 of those. Out of those 2,000, I probably have 12 that I read regularly, meaning I read about once a year, okay? And I pull them back out, and I've got them heavily underlined, a lot of yellow highlights going on them. In one of the books, and I also talk to other salespeople that are high-ranking salespeople that do a really good job of selling, and I ask them, what books have you read? Well, usually they'll say Think and Grow Rich. That's Think and Grow Rich is a common one. How to Win Friends and Influence People is a common one. There's a couple other common ones like that, but one book that they almost always mention is this. Okay, it's called Influence: The Psychology of Persuasion by Robert, I hope that I'm pronouncing this right, Cialdini, Robert Cialdini, all right? First of all, he's not a salesperson. He's a psychiatrist. And what he did was he did a study to find out what makes people buy. Why are they buying? What things are the salespeople doing that cause people to buy? How do people make decisions? The psychology of how people make decisions. And there's a lot in this book. First of all, it's well over 300 pages, okay, which is good. You can get it on Amazon for like 10 bucks. I mean, it's a real good deal. And here's things that I use that I didn't even know why they were working. For example, it talks about reciprocity. So if you're doing something for a customer, they will probably want to do something to return the favor. In fact, there's actually a part of the brain that almost forces you to do that. Okay, so if you owe somebody something, you will want to repay that debt. And that can be all kinds of debt. It can be an emotional debt, it can be a monetary debt, it can be a favor that they've done for you, and a lot of times people don't remember the exact favor, they just remember that they owe you. For example, when I've been selling in people's homes for about 35 years. One of the things that I noticed is this, and I didn't start doing this until I was selling for like 20 years, but I started doing this, and it works really, really well. A lot of times I'll be in somebody's home and they sell something, some little thing, okay? Maybe a craft that they sell, or there's a little business opportunity that they have, or they sell fruit, or they make little baskets, or they do something like that. I remember once I was in a home and this guy made puzzles out of plywood. He made little plywood puzzles, and they were kind of nice puzzles, and he put them in plastic bags and sold them for I think $5. And so he was very excited about that. So when I went there and I started to do my presentation, I happened to notice that he had something like that on his table. I said, what is that? Oh, that's something I make. And I said, do you sell those? And he goes, yeah, I sell those. I said, well, how many do you have? He says, well, I have, however many he had, 50 or 100 or 200 or whatever it was. And I said, how much are they? And he said, $5 a piece. I said, well, can I have 3? He goes, well, yeah. Now, this is before I did my presentation. See, I didn't do this. I didn't say, well, if you buy my vacuum cleaner, which is what I was selling at the time. I didn't say, if you buy my vacuum cleaner, I'll buy 3 of your things. I didn't say that. I said, let me buy 3 of your things. And he said, oh, thank you. And he wrote it up, and I bought 3 of his things, and I took them home. I don't know what I did with them, but I probably gave them to somebody. They were kind of nice. I mean, it wasn't just junk, but it was kind of nice. And I probably gave them away. Now, I did not realize at the time I started doing that exactly why that mechanism works. Reciprocity, how does that actually work? But I knew that it worked. Now, at the time I was selling a vacuum cleaner for about $1,500. Now, the amazing thing is this. The part of the brain, and I'm kind of paraphrasing here, and I'm kind of, joking a little bit here, but this is really what I think. The part of the brain that that thinks about reciprocity and owing people, it can't really do math very well. So, $15 here, Claude bought something for $15 here, they buy something for $1,500 from Claude, now they're even. See, they feel like they're even. So, the question you're probably asking yourself right now is this. You're probably thinking, oh, come on, Claude, are you telling me that the reason that they bought is because of that one thing? No, that's not what I'm telling you. But I am telling you that I don't think I ever ran into a case where I did that and they didn't buy. I don't think that's ever happened. So reciprocity works in several different ways. One of the ways is what I just told you. The other way is it also works, reciprocity works, is if they offer you something. I know this is going to sound strange to some, but if they offer you a cup of coffee, I always took it. I didn't. Maybe their coffee was disgusting. Maybe their water was dirty. I don't know. Sometimes I'd take a couple of sips and I go, whoa. You know, I mean, I didn't look like that, but I go, whoa, this is terrible. Well, I just, I'd take another sip and I'd set it down and wait for it to get cold so I could legitimately not drink it. All right. But why are you accepting a cup of coffee from these people? Because if they do you a favor and you accept the favor, now they're bonding with you. See, now I know this all sounds mercenary and terrible, and it's like, oh, you're just trying to make friends with them so that they will buy. Yes, all of those things are true. Okay, I'm making friends with them so that they will buy. Sometimes I really like the people, sometimes they're really enjoyable to be around, sometimes they're not quite that way. But I always want to accept something if they made an offer. All right. The only time I don't accept is if I know it'll make them feel uncomfortable. They feel obligated to accept. Like they'll say something like, we're going to go out and get dinner. Would you like to come with us? And sometimes I know that the reason that they're saying that is because they are socially required. They are required in society to make that offer, but they really don't want me to do. They really don't want me to go with them. See, and so I'll turn that down. But if I think that they will be offended by me saying no, I will do pretty much whatever that is. Okay? That's reciprocity. You're doing something for them, they want to turn around and do something for you. The thing of it is, though, you got to do something for them first. All right? For example, if you want to get referrals from somebody, from a customer, you want to get referrals, you want them to become a steady referral source, guess what you got to do? You got to figure out a way to give them referrals first. Send customers to them first. And then they will reciprocate by giving you referrals. It's almost impossible for that to not work. I don't think I've ever had a case where I gave somebody a referral and that person bought from that person, and so because of me that person did business and then they didn't give me referrals. I don't think that's ever happened, ever. Okay? Social proof. I'm only going to cover, there's like 12 or 15 of these things in here. Social proof. People buy two things. They're really attracted to things that are hard to get. And they're really attracted to things that other people want, okay, and that other people have. For example, if you're old enough, maybe you remember this, Cabbage Patch dolls. Now I'm sure today there's something like that. I'm just too old to know what that is, okay, like Cabbage Patch dolls. I remember Cabbage Patch dolls were a big deal. Well, really, were they really great? No, they're dolls. Now you can buy them on eBay probably for $1, but at the time, Cabbage Patch dolls were a big deal. Stores were running out. So what did that mean? Ooh, now you can't get them. Now the demand is bigger than the supply. See? So now people are rushing and they're running, from store to store trying to find Cabbage Patch dolls, and because the demand is greater. And now price goes out the window. Now it's not, is this on sale? Nobody's asking, is the Cabbage Patch dolls on sale? Nobody's asking that question anymore. Now they're saying, do you have them? Can I get them? I'll be right over. Can you hold one for me? That's really what they're doing. So they want something that everybody else wants, because that's social proof. If everybody wants it, it must be good. You see a line coming out of a store, you want to join that line. Why? Because something must be happening inside that store. If you drive by a nightclub and you see a line coming out of that nightclub, that's the nightclub you want to go to. Even if you're going, well, it's raining out, it's cold, I might have to stand there for an hour. It doesn't matter. All these other people are proof. These people standing in front of that nightclub are proof that that is an in-demand place to go. You want to go where everybody else wants to go. And that there's a part of your brain that's telling you that, and it's really hard to resist that. So you want to do what other people are doing. See? If in school all the kids wear a certain kind of tennis shoe, that's what you want. All right? If your political party says, that so-and-so is an evil guy, you got to kind of toe that line. See, social proof, social proof, social proof. So there's a lot of things in this book that will explain to you why we do the things that we do why our brain works a certain way that it does. And there's all kinds of examples of this, all kinds of experiments that this Cialdini guy did to prove that these are all effective things. So if you're in selling, if you're selling anything, you should get and study, not just read, but study. Use a yellow highlighter. Go over this book several times. You should get Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion by Robert Cialdini. I hope I pronounced that right, by the way. Claude Whitacre, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.